I'm about to do something terrifying that I've never done before. Break into dance. Right now, my fear of judgment's going crazy. I'm like, people are probably judging me so hard right now. But then I go like, no, people aren't really. I believe it, but I don't really believe it. And that's because of my attachment to my identity and a lack of evidence. The way you have an actual belief that you believe truly is by having evidence repeatedly. So right now, doing this, I've filmed here all the time, and so I have tons of evidence that no one really cares. Every time someone comes up to me, it's to like say how cool it is. And what I don't have evidence for, I used to do cold approaches. I used to go up to women and be like, hey, you're pretty and stuff, and get their Instagram. And I'm still kind of scared of that. Actually, yes, I am scared of that. And that's because I don't have as much evidence for it. And the fix for this, which is how I've fixed the other stuff, I think about what outcomes matter. If I'm looking around and I see some people looking at me, does that actually matter? Hell no. Because looks don't mean that they're negatively judging you. The way to do this is to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Think about like if you saw some crazy looking guy just dancing in the middle of the city, would you be like, oh, like, I hate that guy? People actually judging our character is so much rarer than we think. People looking at us because we're doing something crazy or like just, you know, being in a bit of an awkward conversation so they don't look the happiest, that doesn't mean they're actually going like, I really don't like this guy. And we fear what people are going to think when we don't know what they think. So put yourself in the other person's shoes. Think about what outcomes really matter. So that will fix the problem if your perception was skewed and that was causing your lack of evidence. If your lack of evidence was just because you've never actually done the thing before, then I'm going to say you need to do the thing. Sounds crazy, right? So because this is probably just a general fear of judgment, you can just do something general. You can yell, for example. If I want to yell, bananas, kind of loud. I don't want to scare people, but reasonably loud. That's going to trigger my anxiety a little bit. And then all those feelings will come up. Then what I'm going to do, what you should do, is observe reactions. You don't have to be in a really busy area. If there's no one around, that's fine. You're still just observing that nothing happens, right? Basically, instead of letting yourself imagine the crazy consequences of like all the bad stuff that's happening, you just look around and see that there's nothing actually bad happening. And if there was reactions, think about if they're really bad. Like I said earlier, are people actually judging like, I really don't like you? They're probably not. They're probably just giving you a bit of a weird look because you just yelled, if the yelling thing is what you did. Generally, you're going to get no reaction whatsoever. And if you do get a reaction, it's not going to be related to you. It's not going to be judging you. It's going to be coming from their own, they're judging themselves. So it's you observe what's going on, you separate the real stuff from the fake imaginings, and then you start to believe. That is how you build the beliefs. Once you've done that, you've now got evidence for the beliefs. The only reason you wouldn't believe them now and be free from judgment and fear of judgment is if you are attached to your old identity. It is impossible to shift a belief if it is attached to your identity, because changing it would mean changing who you are, and you like who you are, you're attached to who you are. On top of that, if you're just used to not doing stuff because you never used to do it, then there's just going to be resistance to change. That identity is going to hold you back, even if there's no good reason. And so that's going to keep you less confident. And there's multiple ways of shifting your identity. The first one is by action, because obviously if we do something a bunch of times, we're going to be like, oh, well, that's us to do that thing, right? So just action using discipline. As well as that though, you can go like, who do I want to be? If you can't act because you're attached to your old identity, which will just be like a feeling, then just go like, okay, who do I want to be right now? Do I want to be like a charismatic, extroverted person? Or do I want to be the kind of person who like gets awkward and is just a bit scared? I'm not saying that you're that bad, but you want to be a more charismatic person. And the way you do that, man, you just got to believe that you are becoming that person. Not you're trying to act like that person, you are becoming that person. And every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become, according to Atomic Habits. You guys should read that book. As well as this, you want to remember the successes. So maybe you actually have done some stuff that you never would have used to been able to do, some scary stuff. And you're just forgetting about that. You're grouping like you from 5 years ago and you from 30 minutes ago all together and saying they're the same person. Hell no. You right now is who all you are, And so think about like if there's anything you did 2 years ago, that's not you anymore. And just go through everything you've done and separate the stuff from a really long time ago. So I clearly still suck at dancing, so I can't separate that from my past identity. But you can probably separate your identity a fair bit. And once you've done that, you'll be a new person. You'll be a more charismatic person who's trying to become an even more charismatic person. And you'll genuinely believe that people aren't judging you as much as you used to believe that. And that will make you so much more confident. And that is exactly how you do it. You know, you just do somewhat scary stuff and you reflect on the observations that were going on. You put yourself in the other person's shoes and then you go, wow, look at me, I just did that. This is the new me. And you separate yourself from the old self. And that's how you become more confident. So I hope this helped. Subscribe and have a great day.